What's up, my people? Today we are talking about how to expose a narcissistic boss. Has that ever happened to you? It's the worst, but we are here to talk about it, and I'm going to tell you how to do it right. Join me, like and subscribe. Let's dive in. Where I want to begin is by looking at the word expose, right? How do we expose someone who is a straight up narcissist that we report to? That word is important because we need to get clear on what we're trying to do, what the intention is. So for example, if you're working in an organization that is a fabulous place to work normally and is full of good-hearted people that are working hard to give excellence every day, and along comes this boss that you now report to who's new to the system. That is a situation where you need to expose the behavior, because one narcissist can be responsible for a flock of really talented people leaving an organization, and the org needs you to expose them. Having said that, how you do it matters. In fact, the way I like to think about it is not I'm exposing this guy, I'm blowing the whistle on this person, on this woman. Rather, what you want to do is seek advice for dealing with them. This is a nuance, right? If you go into HR or if you go to the powers that be and you start lighting them up, I want to expose this person, these are all the terrible things they do. What it makes them think, the HR person, whoever you're talking to, is this person seems a little hysterical. This person sounds like she has an axe to grind, or he has an axe to grind. If you go in with guns a-blazing, what you're going to create is a feeling of skepticism on the part of the other person. Instead, I want you to go in and ask for advice. Hey, listen, I'm dealing with a personality type that's new to me and I could really use some advice. And then tell 2 or 3 different scenarios, stories that have actually happened with this narcissistic boss to explain what it's like to work with them. Now, if the person you're talking to is worth their salt, they'll go, you're dealing with a real doodad, as my grandmother used to say. You're dealing with a narcissist. We need to take this seriously and consider putting them on notice, getting them on review, getting them some coaching, doing something to fix this problem, because any good human resources person or manager or leader knows that people don't leave organizations just because of money and status. People leave because of their manager. And if you have people walking out the door because of some toxic jackface, that's a huge problem for the company. So if you're dealing in that kind of scenario, asking for advice is an incredible way of flagging a problem without triggering skepticism in the other person, without making it look like you're a hysterical whistleblower trying to do right by the world, which just makes them go, are you though? Unfortunately, that's how it is, right? So I want you to know that. The other question is though, what if you realize you have joined up and become a part of an organization that is full of narcissists, that protect narcissists, right? It happens. If that's the case, you can do all the exposing in the world, and you know what? It ain't gonna have even a bit of difference, because you are dealing with a culture that celebrates narcissistic personalities and moves them right on up the management chain. And if that's the situation you're in, 2 things. Number 1, I want you to really look at why you took the job to begin with. If it was a situation where you're like, you know what, I took the job because I had to, I needed the money, I have to support my family. That's important to know, because it may be that you have chosen, it's not even that you chose it, you have to work with difficult personalities because of your career, because of the situation that you're in, because of the money you need to earn to take care of your people. If that's the case, that's okay. But you need to get some, skills in place to deal with those big personalities. Like all the people that worked for Steve Jobs at Apple, they sort of had to listen to him through a filter, because the way he communicated was so toxic and so brutal that if they took everything in that he was saying, they wouldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning. So they would filter out the nasty to grab hold of what was useful. And if you're in a situation where you're in a house of narcissists because it's the brand, but you can't leave because you need the money or whatever other reason, you need to look at techniques you can use to protect yourself, because it ain't gonna change. Let's say you realize, oh my God, I took this job because of my ego. Here's the thing about narcissists. They will make you feel like the queen or king of everything, and they pull you in And then once you get in, you're not the golden boy or girl anymore. You're on their hit list. They're there to make you miserable or whatever that pattern is. If that's the situation and you're like, God, I can't believe I found myself in this situation, and it's a house full of narcissists, babes, you gotta start dusting off that resume and start looking for another gig. Because here's what I know for sure. If you are in a system that celebrates and moves up narcissism and narcissists, that system is not gonna get changed just by you. Now, I'm not talking about a situation where people are breaking the law and it's a legitimate whistleblowing situation. That's different. That's a totally different YouTube topic. Drop me a note if you want me to talk about that. But I'm talking about just jackassery on the job. If you're in a system that is built with narcissists, you're not going to be able to change it. You're just one person and they protect each other. So in my opinion, when you are with a boss that is a narcissist, that is hell-bent on making you miserable, it's not sustainable. Either you're gonna go or they're gonna go, and they're not going anywhere if they're surrounded by cronies that are the same way. So you need to start doing your thing. What I have found is that so many of us fail to acknowledge the reality of the situation and make moves to make a different move. We sit, we stew, we feel victimized, we feel righteous in our woundedness, we act like victims and nothing changes. And we just get sicker and sadder and more. It's like a spiral of self-doubt and then anger and rage. I mean, it just spins out. I have seen people become physically ill because they've stayed in an organization that protects narcissists. So I really, at the bottom of this question, how do you expose a narcissist? Like all the coaching work I do, it really needs to start with you. What's your intention here? What kind of system are you operating in? That'll tell you which way to go, right? And what are you going to do about it? Instead of seeing yourself as the victim, see yourself as the hero. A hero who is a realist. A hero that knows when to hold them and when to fold them. Right? So I hope that helps. Please drop me a comment. I love stories from the field of people that are dealing with narcissistic people. It gives me so much fuel because I know that there's so many of us out there that need the support. And as always, thank you for being here. Also, if you are struggling with how to communicate with a narcissist, how to maintain your cool, I cannot recommend my course, the No Enemy Conversation course, enough. Go to noenemy.bronwyncommunications.com. It's a game changer. Shine on, my people. We need your light. I'll see you next time.